time for Faith in Finance. Oh, yeah. Fire up that cash register, that Bitcoin counting machine, or whatever it is you got. Drew Blazsik is in studio now, professor of finance and all-around expert. Good morning, Drew.
Hey, good morning. How's it going?
Good. And you brought an audience of two with you.
Yeah, I got Hannah with me and Christian. Want to say hi?
Hi.
Okay.
Hi.
They like coming, you know why, because we get the donuts afterwards. But I think they love coming to see you too, Ron. So
Yeah, is that true?
I love coming to see you too.
Oh, that's sweet. Well, always a joy to see you too.
That's always why I always come.
Oh,
always
that's a
why you
good
come.
reason. I love that.
So yeah, a lot of things going on. I just wanted to kind of touch base with something that's very important, so people understand that. I don't know if you guys saw it, but silver hit $50 an ounce.
Wow, yeah.
And this is so important. This is something that's something made visible for us that typically silver can go up in price because of industrial purposes, like for computers and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
There's a need for silver, and it's really important. But when it hits 50, it's even more important than that. And I think the best way to think about it is if your water heater has a pressure relief valve.
Yeah.
And if there's something going on with your water heater, it's there for it to make sure it goes, nothing bad happens. The pressure will get relieved. That silver is a sign to us that there's something very unstable in the economy is going on when it hits this kind of price range.
Oh, really?
And the important thing you want to think about, it's really making the whole, like the system, when debt outpaces productivity, which it is, that means we're producing so much currency that's based on nothing, that when you see a price like this is a sign. This is a signal to it that there is something inherently wrong with the economy. So I think
really?
And they say this is like the first symbol in an orchestra. This is a good way to think about it. And you don't want to be there without knowing what's going to happen too late. So it's real important. People think, oh, there's a lot of money being made, but this is a really bad sign for the economy.
Yeah, I wondered about that because I did read that and hear about that, and I made a mental note to ask you about it when you were here on Friday, so I'm glad you brought it up.
So the trust in our system and policies really suffering because of this.
Wow.
But so that's something I think people have to, if you know what's going on, you can prepare those signs or signals what's happening. And it's really trust in the system that we have a fiat currency and asset system with our money that's really based on nothing. And we've been printing so much since for a long time, but especially since COVID. And that's why you see a lot of prices going up because of that. So I think people need to see that, and it's just a signal right now what's going on. And I think it's not like tomorrow it's gonna some major happen, maybe the next 4 or 5 years, but definitely plan for it. And then
Thanks for the heads up on that.
So a couple other things, like we talk about Catholic principles that we have, and subsidiarity, which is the important principle of every decisions should be local if it can be made local. So we talked about last time was self-directed IRAs. There's so much that we can do, and more I'm realizing I'm going to do more research in this. And self-directed IRAs is where instead of rolling over to your traditional IRA, you could take those funds and buy real assets. You could buy local assets. You just have to find someone that can do it. There's also something else, and we talk about that we want to be careful where our money goes. In that last document I talked about, that Catholic document, which I cannot pronounce, it mentioned how that you could take. You could vote with your wallet. The important thing is not just politics, but you can vote with your wallet, as in you can decide what you want to purchase. And there's an app, and it's in the beta, and I think this is such important for Catholic principles. It's called Buy R, the app, and Buy R is where you can scan any product. And I'm not sure, you can go to the website and look it up, and you can request the app in the beta sense of it. But Buy R, you can scan any product, and you can see if the product is who owns it, and you can see all the dimensions of the product. So as we talked about before, most of the products out there are owned by a few companies, which is BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. They're all owned by them. They're the largest owners of it. So if we want to really be careful in what we purchase, if you want to purchase local, if you want to purchase for private companies, you go to the store, all you do is use this app, and you can scan it, and then it's going to tell us everything about it, and we can be very cautious of where we spend our money. So I think there's two things that we could do. We could take our self-directed IRAs and invest in real assets, or what we can do is we could take make sure that we purchase good things. So I think those are things that we can do to really promote Catholic principles in that regard.
And that app is BuyR.
BuyR, BUY and then apostrophe R. How it said. Now it's still in the beta, and what it is somebody collected all the data of these companies, and when you scan it, it's pulling up a spreadsheet and telling you about the structure of the company and how who owns it. So if you want to be cautious about that, you don't want that globalist aspect. You can really because before you never know. You think something's local, a company, but really it's a global company. And a lot of the principles global companies do not adhere to our Catholic principles.
Yeah. That's a helpful thing to know because subsidiarity is so important.
Yeah.
You need to grow the economy around you, not send the money out.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are two major things that we can do. I think the first thing I talked about, which was self-directed IRAs, that's a little more difficult. You have to find someone who could help you manage that. And just so listeners know, I have a friend. I was talking to him about it, and I'm going to see if he could be that point guy. If he would be the expert on it, and people could actually send their funds and actually use it for businesses or investment properties, stuff like that, rather than buying. And this is important. We talked about silver. That's paper assets. When we talk about like when Apple has stock, you're really just owning paper. It's trust in Apple, true, but it's not a real asset you own. If something happens to Apple, you lose things.
Right.
That if you want to own an actual property, that's so much more tangible and it's a physical asset that which we can use.
Just being aware of some of these things is so important too. That's why we appreciate this particular feature and your gift to Faith and Finance, this segment. And I encourage people to go back and listen to previous episodes too, because we've saved all those. So what are we to do right here and now, especially as we approach the end of the year, we're getting close to the end of the year? You might think about tax implications and so forth. Any tips or keys for it?
I mean, end of the year, I would say, taxes would be what kind of what do you own? So let's say if you bought crypto, you want to make sure and again, from Drew Blazsik, I don't like all cryptos. I think they're kind of a Ponzi scheme, but I do like Bitcoin because it has value. If you want to protect against the dollar, but you want to own it longer than a year. And if you don't own it longer, so if you buy it for 8 months and you sell it too soon, that would go on your personal income as income. And that could raise your taxes pretty high. If you own it longer than a year, that would qualify under capital gains. And then capital gains is another tax structure where you don't have to worry about personal income tax. Now, the capital gains, the benefit of capital gains is that it doesn't count against it. And then if you make under a certain amount, and I don't have it with me here, but there's some scenarios that you would pay zero taxes if I forgot, let's say $80,000. So if you made $70,000 in your job, you made 10,000 Bitcoin, you're under a certain amount, you pay zero capital gains, but it has to be owned longer than a year.
Gotcha. That's an important key because, some folks might be looking for ways to lower their income toward the end of the year, make a big donation or several donations or invest something. And Bitcoin would not be the thing to do this late in the year if it's the first time.
Well, if you sell it, you could buy it now, but you just can't sell it. So when I bought my Bitcoin, I haven't sold it yet, and I don't have a good exit strategy. So I'm thinking I don't know when to sell it.
Right.
But I'm thinking definitely within the next 4 years, my goal. But
good stuff. As always, Faith and Finance Professor Drew Blazsik, and of course Hannah and Christian as well. So thank you all for joining us today. Appreciate that.
Let's say bye-bye.
A well-oiled machine, the Blazsik family. All right. Have a great day. Have a good weekend.
You too. Thank you.